Oh yes, indeed. Welcome to the History Hunter. Today you're going to take part in a very, very special little adventure. That is a typical German Tiger tank. This is a Stuart tank. But on one of our journeys to the Eastern Front that we just finished, thanks to all of you kind people, we wanted to see if there were any truth in that the Soviets actually had Sherman tanks at their disposal on their way to Berlin. And they didn't just have one, they had several thousand at their disposal. So we had a little talk, me and my son, Eagle Eyes. We said, let's go out to what we call the Panzer Forest, or the Panzer Forest, because we have found special things there before. So are you ready? If you are, help us out, watch the video in full. And don't skip because you'll lose the context. Let's go out and see if the rumors of the Soviets having Sherman tanks at the Eastern Front is true.
Hope you're all doing well. We are thriving, having a good time on the Eastern Front thanks to all of you. And this day is a bit sad because it's raining. But you know, we are out there no matter what, so it doesn't matter. We are never surrendering, and we're just gonna have some fun here today. And who knows what's come up from the ground. We have been pretty lucky here before. Eagle Eyes found a little eagle here once. We found a bayonet and we found some panzer tracklings. Who knows what's going to come up. Got a little signal here, so we're going to do that first. And we just hear what we find. We found this before. These are rings for the bearings. There were some panzers here and they were blown up by the Red Army's artillery. And this is a part of the system of the tracks, the wheels that holds the track, and they are wheel bearing holders and details like that. And well, we found them before. I hope the recordings will come out okay, even though it's raining, because we're using the GoPro mostly. The other camera will just get totally messed up. And hope also that the sound will be okay. A lot of shrapnel and splinter pieces as well in this forest, and that's because, as I said, the Red Army came in and they really found the Germans, and when they found the Germans, homed in on them, they know exactly where they hit. Oh, that's a cartridge, and look at that. Maybe you Eagle Eyes can see if there's a date. The Germans used whatever they had, even shotguns, so this could very well be from one of the rifles that fired towards the Red Army. We have found some vehicle pieces also here before. This could very easily have been a hinge, I don't know, for a hatch or hood or something like that. Because most of what we find here, almost no trash, everything here belongs to the last days of the Battle of Berlin, so that could very well have been on a vehicle. Can you imagine being a German soldier in this forest in the spring of '45? Winter was still here, it was freezing cold, and a million Red Army soldiers came your way. Well, just imagine how terrifying that must have been. And this was your only refuge to come to this forest and try and stay alive. I want to say a massive thank you to all of you incredible people who have sent us out to the Eastern Front. Thank you to all who watch, subscribe, comment. Thank you for watching the videos in full. Don't skip. That will bring the YouTube algorithm in our favor, because every second actually counts. And thank you to all our Patreon team members. Each and every one of you, you know who you are, and you are the guys and girls who send us out to do this. And also to all of you who donate something to the PayPal thing so we can have some fuel into the gas tank and go out and share these positions with you. Even though right now it doesn't seem like there is anything here. There are some trenches in this forest. I'm going to show them a little bit later down here, further down. They hardly had time to dig down. What they did, they just took a shovel and they made sure that they could dig a hole big enough for themselves to stay in while they waited for new orders. And that was basically to retreat because they couldn't hold this place. It was impossible. They just couldn't hold this place, and it's fully understandable. You have a million guys coming your way. Well, guess what? It's not going to be that easy to hold your ground. So it's not like you can find a massive trench system. It's rather just smaller dugouts where a few guys could sit and just have a little breather in between the battles, because it was intense here. It was absolutely intense here. You got something here, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is what's here in millions. That is shrapnel pieces, splinters, whatever you like to call it. These are the real dangers for the soldiers here. They would rain down in thousands and thousands, and the Red Army would fire their grenades, artillery shells, and they would explode high up in the up where the trees are, and they would rain down hundreds of kilometers per hour, and that will definitely kill you. This is the forest, kind of forest floor itself. We're gonna go down towards some of the roads that are in the forest, and these roads were there during those days, and a lot of the leftover vehicles that the Germans had in this area was placed there for a very short time, actually just a few hours, and then a Soviet aircraft spotted them, and the artillery was directed directly to this position, and that resulted in a lot of the vehicles that was here was blown up, and that is why you find pieces of vehicles here, and most likely this thing here came from one of the vehicles here. Heavy duty, bent. I'm not sure what it could be, but it's very often that we find vehicles or panzer pieces here. And it's pretty exciting because sometimes you find a whole panzer track link, maybe like this. And other times you just find a little button or whatever. So it's a special place with a lot of variations. I'm using a 4-tone program in the detector now. It goes a little bit deeper, and a lot more shattering. It's going to be more noisy, but sometimes if you have kind of not that many signals around, then suddenly there could be more signals for you to dig. That's exactly what it seemed happened right now. What is that? Is that what I think it is? Hmm? Is that for an MG? I think that's a piece from a weapon. The sliding, is it? I think it is. Yeah, I'm knocking on it because I just want to get the excess rust off it. I do think this is a part from a machine gun or a machine gewehr. Look, can you see here, guys? Yeah, see here? That is that round part there. I think this is the sliding. The pin would be here. I could be wrong.
There it is. Let me show you how cool history hunting can be. So you're just looking at a tiny little piece that I managed to clean up. But this is not just a tiny little piece of metal. This is something very special, because once upon a time there was a German soldier in that forest, and guess what? He actually had one of these. It's a STG 44 Sturmgewehr, one of the most high-tech weapons of its time, and just this little piece is the proof of his existence. How can I prove that? Well, this is where it gets very exciting. So here you have a split drawing of one of these rifles, and you see that where the arrow is? That is that piece there. Let me show you how cool history actually is. See that? This is that piece there, and I believe it's called a follower. And that is what I think is so incredible. And then, see that there? That's a Sturmgewehr magazine, given to me by a very dear friend. Thank you, Elle, for that gift. This is a Sturmgewehr magazine. That used to be right up there. And this is what this is all about. It's not about finding the most incredible, huge pieces. It's about finding the tiniest little detail that we can look into, and then we can kind of put the context together. So we have a forest where we know that the Germans took shelter for a short time to regroup and head on back to Berlin. These soldiers were attacked several times in this forest, and they had several panzers and Kettenrads and trucks. They were bombarded with the Red Army's artillery. And then, how can we prove that? Well, that is just one of the parts that could prove that. And then after a while, the Germans pulled out and the Red Army came in. And now it's starting to get really exciting, because we were on the hunt for proof of just that. German tanks on the Eastern Front. Is that possible, or can we find a proof of that? Well, let's see what we'll go find. Here's a little tip. You want to help us out really good? Watch the videos unfold. Don't skip it. And if you watch more of our videos, you're really helping us out. And thank you all who donate on the PayPal thing, and also to our Patreon team members. Thank you for being in there for us. But we have a special thing that we want to say to all of you who donated specifically for the Eastern Road trip on the Super Thanks feature. And that is that I said I'll make you historical. And that's exactly what you're going to be now. Thank you for the Eastern trip donations. All of you on this list here. You did something special for us to send us out here to find this place and share all these great stories with you. And I wanted to make you historical, because now, as long as the video is out there, you are with us, and you can actually see that you took part in a very special way. So I thank you all on that list for doing that kind donation towards what we do. But as I said, also thank you each and every one of you for spending time watching our explorers, and we hope you learn and enjoy the material. This is a German here button. It was next to the other one. You can see that. That is most definitely a German here button. And it's in on one of the roads that leads into and out from the forest. So that is the proof that the German soldier was here, and he was running from the Red Army soldiers. And it's actually going to be modern trash. I haven't got a clue. Oh wow! Look at that! That is pretty astonishing. That is a Soviet shell casing. Look at the size of that thing. This is on the road where the Soviets came in after the Germans. Can you see that? That is pretty decent. And there would be a date in here, very often 44 actually. Maybe you guys can see if you can see a date. You can see where we are. There used to be a road here. I'm guessing right here, either a
606, 1944.
1944, there you go.
And it has 606.
Okay, how cool is that? Very nice find, loving that. Some pretty strong signals right there. Remember, both sides were here. Soviets and the Germans were here, so you never really know what's going to come up. That's what makes it so exciting. You can find pieces from both sides, and that is what I really enjoy when I go to places like that. What is that? See that?
What is that? Okay. Is that a filler cap from a vehicle, or what is it? Okay. What is that? We have to dig around it. See more of it. See here? There's something here. Wow. Oh my goodness. You see what that is, Eagle Eyes?
Yeah, right.
It's a light. And you see what that is? You know exactly what this is. See that? That is a dim light for a vehicle. This is a military vehicle light. See that? The connections are still in there. Wow. Look at that. That is astonishing. This is for sure a light for a vehicle.
So did we find what we look for there at the Eastern Front? Well, I'm going to show you. But before, let me tell you, you, every one of you, are the reason for us to be able to go out and find these incredible places and share incredible history with you. So if you want to help us to reach more locations, here is the opportunity. That is our Super Thanks feature. And with that, you can help us out with some funds so we can put some gasoline into the fuel tank, go out and share even more. But let me show you exactly what we found. You won't believe this. This is what we were looking for. Remember I said, is there any proof that we can find a piece that tells us that the Sherman tank was actually at the Eastern Front, way, way, way east of Berlin? How is that possible? Well, this thing here proves it. First, let me just show you the color, the green color. Here it says 24V. I'm thinking that is 24 volts. This thing we just cleaned up, and you can see it's been that color green. See that? And then inside here you can see different fittings. But the main thing that you can see is that dim light. That is so cool. That's like an acrylic, some kind of plastic. It's not glass. And there's a writing here that confirms exactly what we were looking for. So let me put this into some context so you can see this. All right, let us first see, can we identify this piece here as a actually light from a Sherman tank? If you have a look right there, let me do this. See that? And on this side, you can see that little dim light on the top, and it's most likely this thing here. So dim light on the top is most definitely it, and the 3-bolt configuration to attach it with a bracket, it's absolutely this light here. And you can also see that type of light right there. So that is most definitely it. And then we have more proof, because you can see this here. It's the same. It's just the same. It's just a more close-up picture, especially the dim light. And then we have another picture here where you can see that light right there. So what is going on here? What is happening? Let me show you. These are images of the M4A2 used by the Red Army. And the Red Army, actually under the Lend and Lease contract, received over 4,100 of these tanks. They were sent to them. About 2,000 of them were equipped with the original 75mm main gun, and around 2,100 was mounted with a more capable 76mm tank gun. And the total number of Sherman tanks sent to the USSR under the Lend-Lease represented more than 18.6% of all the Lend and Lease Shermans. So they came in the late summer of 1944. Remember this Eagle Eyes found? We found that's marked 1944. Because the Soviets, they started to stock up on all of this for the invasion from the Eastern Front. And around the beginning of 1945, some Red Army armored units were standardized to depend primarily on them and not the rather special T-34s. It was largely held in good regards and viewed positively by many of the Soviet tank crews, and which operated them with ease, and it was fairly good firepower and decent armor protection. Also, they loved very much that there was this auxiliary power unit, APU, to keep the tank's batteries charged without having to run the main engine, because the T-34 had to be run with the main engine to charge the batteries, so they really liked that. But you can see here, these Soviet soldiers, they had the Shermans. And yes, we did go out into a forest on the Eastern Front. Yes, we did find one of the lights for one of the Sherman tanks in that forest. And guess what? It's all thanks to you. Each and every one of you who watch, subscribe or comment, it is absolutely thanks to you, because when you do that, we have the possibility to take time to research, to travel and find these incredible locations. And this is no coincidence. You're not going to find Sturmgewehr pieces for random. You're not going to find these from the Soviet troops, and you're most definitely not going to find a light in the soil with the colors and everything laying there since 1945, proving that the Soviets used the Sherman tanks. You're not going to do that if you don't have a good system around you. And what we have this fantastic community by our team members on Patreon. We have these beautiful people who gives us a thumbs up, subscribe, give us a comment, watch their videos in full. And as I said, this is a very easy way to help us to reach even more cool places, because YouTube algorithm counts seconds. For every second you watch our videos without skipping, you are helping us out with every second. So thank you for that. But I want to say, the Eastern Front trip has just started for you. You're going to see so many interesting things. This is just the beginning. But as I promised, I brought that list for all of you who are helping us out on Super Thanks. And guess what? All of these will be passed on to our supporters on Patreon and PayPal, or the donations on Super Thanks. And we have a special thing here. If you want to hook up onto the PayPal, the Patreon thing, take a look at this. Did you know that you can become a World War II History Hunter team member, and the artifacts here could be passed on to you in this manner and fashion here by creating beautiful World War II dioramas and displays? You can be the future keeper of something very, very special by the history and the history hunting that we share together. Check out the link in the video description. You can click that and you can become a Patreon team member if you want to. Different kind of perks with for your eyes only videos, travel vlogs, restoration projects, all of that good stuff. And if you want to know more, check out the supporter videos in the beginning of each month. But now let's continue our little adventure. Yeah, so someone of our supporters will be the happy owner of a very special artifact from a Sherman tank in an Eastern Front forest. Yeah, and someone will be the future keeper of this artillery shell, machine gun shell. And yes, someone will be the future keeper of this, because we give back to you as much as we can, because you give us the privilege to go out and find these places and share them with you. So I thank you, my son Eagle Eyes, thank you, my daughter Bunker Buster Girl thanks you, and we thank you all for being here. So I hope you enjoyed this. This little rattle in the end was a bit long, but it's necessary to show you that it's not about skipping and dropping out from context. It's about understanding the full story. And now you can say to people, because I've never ever seen anyone proving to you that you can find artifacts from a Sherman tank in an Eastern Front forest, proving that the Shermans were there. I'm not satisfied by watching black and white movies and reading out from a book and copy pasting all of that the others do. This is what we do. We are not satisfied before we bring history to you and share it in a very special way, which I think we did today. So thank you again. Stay safe, keep smiling, and we'll meet you out there in the next one.